Okay, so I'm gluing some fake nails on right now. I'm doing like a whole get ready with me, so this is just the beginning. It's like a grayish cat eye, and it's super pretty. So I'm gonna put these on and answer some questions. The first question is, what's your first memory from your childhood and what colors and smells you associate with it? There was this one time, this is literally like before I had a subconscious or before I could even form thoughts. Like I was full on baby, but I still kind of remember like what happened. I remember I was sitting on the stairs and it was the morning, so everyone was like getting ready for work and stuff, except me, because I was a baby. But yeah, I remember my dad was like getting ready for work. I just remember him leaving through the front door, and for some reason I thought he was leaving forever. Like I straight up thought that like I was never gonna see my dad again. So I remember crying so hard, hysterically crying. I was crying so hard that I threw up everywhere. Like I was a mess. That was pretty much like a core memory for me. I think that was like my first time. What is it called? What is that phenomenon called when like you put something in front of a baby and then you cover it and then it's like they don't believe it exists anymore? It's like it's called object permanence. It was because I lacked object permanence. It's like when you do like peekaboo to a baby and they start freaking out. Something strange that no one knows about you. So I guess this isn't really strange. And also like only the people I'm close with know this about me. So it's still kind of interesting. But I'm someone who loves Halloween. I take it so seriously. Last year, it wasn't that crazy, but I was Esqueleto from Nacho Libre, and my sister was Nacho. And then the year before that, I was Walter from Breaking Bad. That was like, I did a really good job on that one. And then my favorite costume that I've ever done, hands down. And this is like, I never show people this picture because it's a little embarrassing and I feel like it'll always come back to haunt me no matter what. It's because it's on my dad's Facebook. One Halloween, I went as macaroni and cheese, literally macaroni and cheese. And you know what? It was like literally one of the best nights of my life. I'm not gonna lie. I think I experienced what it feels like to be famous. People were stopping me in the street to take pictures with me. People were honking at me through their cars. And oh my God, I got so much extra candy that Halloween. I like forgot. I don't think I'll ever feel that important again as I did dressed up as mac and cheese. Next question. Do you like the Beatles? I think so. I don't know enough of their songs to like have an opinion on them, but the songs that I do know are all really good. I'm sure the Beatles are really good. I just haven't like listened to their full discography. So if you have any recommendations, please let me know. Next question is, how do you deal with loneliness and boredom? First of all, I think it's important to acknowledge that these are both things that like everyone experiences, and if you don't, then you're weird if you don't. Loneliness and boredom, I think they have such negative connotations. For me, I always try to discover how I can make these things work for me. Instead of looking at it like in a pessimistic way, I very much try to be optimistic nowadays. Boredom is a breeding ground for new ideas. If you let yourself like genuinely feel boredom and, you know, not distracting yourself with your phone, but literally just stare at a wall for an hour, literally, and you'll be surprised with like the things you start to think of. Maybe you'll have new ideas or new revelations about yourself. It's literally like meditating, I think. As for loneliness can be a blessing because you're not distracted by anything or anyone. I think loneliness has made me a better person because I was able to reflect more within myself and not be so wrapped up in like other people's perspectives, I guess, if that makes any sense. Just like, would you rather have a group of really bad friends? You won't be lonely, but they'll literally ruin your life. Or would you rather be alone just with yourself and, you know, not have people who are literally trying to drag you down? I'd rather be alone, and I'd rather learn to be friends with myself first than to be with people who aren't gonna fulfill me in any way. Who is your favorite sister? Best moment with each sister from your sister? I'm the youngest of 3, so 4 in total. Having sisters has been the greatest like gift my mom could ever give me in this life. Genuinely, like, they're my best friends, and since I'm the youngest, so much of my personality and so much of the things I've learned have been from them. So it's like I'm literally just a melting pot of all of my sisters. I think I would have been such a different person had they not been in my life. I'm sort of lucky that even in my loneliest moments where I didn't have any friends and stuff, I had my sisters. So yeah, big thanks, big shout out to my sisters if you're watching this. Eventually I want to start a podcast with all of them because I think it'd be super fun. I have a lot of funny stories with them and we all talk a lot. So that's something that I would really love to do in the future. Next question. During the times you were the most afraid, what were some things you did so you can overcome it? I'm a pretty anxious person in general, especially socially. I'm not the best socializer. I remember in high school, whenever we had to do a presentation or something in front of the class, it was like terrible. Like my whole body would shut down. I would start shaking, my heart would start palpitating, I'd start sweating. And I don't know why, like speaking in front of others just became like, it was like I was dying. Now that I'm older, I've definitely gotten better with public speaking. Like definitely getting a job and talking to customers helped a lot with social anxiety. Like working in customer service job for 5 years definitely helped with that. But other than that, I still do get anxious talking to people. I think if I were to do something different about those situations I'm in, I would probably tell myself to stop being so self-important. Having social anxiety is such a weird thing because like on one hand, you're so worried about what other people think of you that it almost becomes narcissistic, and it's in a very weird like roundabout way. Because if you think about it, you're so worried about what others think about you that you're only worrying about yourself. Something I've learned is that in reality, like literally nobody cares. Nobody cares that I'm giving a presentation. In fact, I feel like in high school, whenever people were giving presentations, most of the kids would just like zone out, you know, not care about it. So even if they do care, like on the slight chance that they're judging you, you can be delusional about it, okay? Allow yourself to put thoughts in other people's minds. But instead of putting negative thoughts and immediately thinking the worst, like, oh, they're judging me, oh, they think I'm weird, be like, oh, they think I'm so cool and they think I'm so hot and so sexy. Literally just think stupid things like that. And I feel like that's so much of what confidence is having that almost fake perceptions about what others think of you, that it starts to become real because that energy is gonna like start to reflect in yourself. It's just a mindset at the end of the day. And that was like the ones from the scary movies. That was like such a scary movie as Thunder. Do you plan on making your own music/band someday? So I don't plan on it, but I'm not gonna lie, I think it would be something really fun to do. I feel like in my past life I was in a band or something because I just love the energy of all female fronted bands. Like Kitty, for example. I would love to make music like Jack Off Jill, especially their album Clear Hearts, Grey Flowers. Also Veruca Salt, I forget which album it is, but that whole band in general is really cool. Whenever no one's home, I will literally sing as loud as I can. Sometimes I practice screaming too, which is really fun. It's a good way to like relieve stress. I sort of play the bass, not very goodly. So maybe one day. It's just really hard to find people that actually want to be in a band. What's your favorite movie? Do you have any movies you would recommend us to watch? One of my top favorite movies is Emilia. I don't think it's Emilia, I think it's, but it is such like a me movie. Like I feel like it was made specifically for me. It's just like a really comforting movie. Plot, the soundtrack, the actors, the whole entire like design of all the shots and the color grading. It's just so good. Finished my nails, super cute. But yeah, second movie I would recommend is Rituals. It's a Japanese movie. I forget who the director is, but it's a really good director. And it's one of those movies that's like a bit harder to digest. It's a portrayal of mental illness, but instead of being so like obvious, it's much more like symbolic about it and artistic and creative. It's just a really good movie. What is something you've never done but want to? I think I want to learn how to dance. I just think people who know how to dance are so cool. Like I love watching like dance practices. I want to know how to like move my body and like take control of it. But unfortunately I am as stiff as a stick. Like I literally cannot dance at all. What advice would you give to people who are discovering their creativity later on in life? First of all, I just want to say like, don't be afraid to quit things. I feel like a lot of times people are afraid to experiment and stuff because they think like starting a hobby is like a commitment. If there's one thing about me is I'm a quitter and I know when to quit. I've quit a lot of things in life. I quit playing tennis after like a few years. I played cello for 3 years in middle school and I quit that too. And I quit journalism even though I liked it, but it just wasn't for me. And I quit the idea of going to college because I know it's not for me. Also, there's a book that's specifically about this. It's called Discovering Creativity and Meaning at Midlife and Beyond, and it's by Julia Cameron. I haven't read it personally, but it's an author that is really famous for giving advice on creativity, and it has a lot of good reviews. Definitely would recommend checking that book out. What were you like as a child? 5 years old, 10 years old, teenage? It's weird because I started out very like social and like friendly and I had a lot of friends. That was like elementary school, but as soon as I started like puberty, that's when we moved and I had to go to a new school. So I had to like start over on all of my friendships. And I remember just thinking like, how do I do that? Like I was never taught how to make friends. Like I just already had these friends from elementary school and now I don't know anybody. And that was the time in my life where I think I was like the most miserable, honestly speaking. Like I was that weird kid that never talked in class. I also started watching anime then, so I was like even weirder because of that, because anime hasn't always been like a cool thing. I remember like if you watched anime back then, like you were weird. I guess it's a good thing now that it's more accepted, but like I just remember being sort of outcasted as a middle schooler. Later on, like high school, is when I started to become more comfortable with myself. I used to be so ashamed of being like a quiet person, but now it's something that like I embrace. So I feel like it did make me more of a stronger person and I have personality. Favorite animal? This one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. If you can't tell, I really, really love axolotls. I really like this one because, you know, like, guys, and ones, but I think axolotls are really cool because they only stop here to say changes for being honest. They say life, and I just and like, because I want to say childhood life. I really have my childhood. I want to teach my child mother and my child. I think is so important too. And axolotls, like I like to them because they're little babies that grow up. And also, really love them. They have really good them. So it can really their lungs, and scientists use them to study. But yeah, I just love them. I could talk about them forever. How do you romanticize your life? It's super easy to fall into this like never-ending thing of, oh, if I lived here, my life would be better, or if I had this product, if I woke up at 5 a.m. every day and drank a glass of lemon water and then went for a walk and then did my morning pages, I'd be the most perfect, healthy version of myself. Maybe you would, but those things that you're being shown by influencers, it's practically all fake. It's all edited. Social media is a trap, okay? It's designed to be addictive and it's designed to make you feel like shit about yourself. The first step to romanticizing your life is to stop comparing yourself to other people, because comparison is the thief of joy. Because these influencers, they promote like the most unrealistic things. It's so easy to make your life look perfect. It's so easy. As someone, you know, who creates videos and content, I can edit my life and I can make it look more interesting than it actually is. Just being honest, like to a certain extent, like I do that. Not saying my life is fake. What I show y'all is definitely like a real portrayal of my life, especially my vlogs and stuff. But still, it's all very curated. I only press film when I feel like I can record something that's interesting, and I edit things to appear a certain way. Basically, my point is, it's just like, you're never gonna feel like those perfect videos you see online. You're not an edit, okay? You're a real human being, and human beings are messy, we're unpredictable, and that's the beauty of it. Gratitude is such an important part of romanticizing your life. You need to take notice of what's already in front of you and stop focusing on what's not in front of you. Put down your phone, which me, guilty of. I'm an avid Pinterest user, but it's like, how am I gonna live my life if you're constantly on Pinterest romanticizing other people's lives? You know what I mean? So I think it's just an important thing to take a step back sometimes, especially from other people's lives on social media. Favorite YouTube channels, fashion brands. YouTube channels, I really like watching, there's this Korean YouTuber called Plan D, I think, and she posts like vlogs of her doing like really mundane tasks like cooking, cleaning, and stuff. But for some reason, it's like the most interesting thing ever. And it always like just relieves my stress. Like I love watching her videos when I have anxiety because I don't know, there's something so like therapeutic about watching other people do things. So I love her videos. And then I also really love Uncomfy. She's a clay artist and she's probably like the main inspiration for my channel because she showed me that like you can follow your dreams and follow your art. I really like owe a lot of my creativity to her because she made it seem like anything I could do was possible. And plus her videos are just always so good, and I would definitely recommend watching her channel if you are a creative person. Favorite fashion brands? I love John Galliano. These are designers, but I guess it's like the same thing. I like Alexandra McQueen, Jean Paul Gaultier, Margiela, D Squared. I like a lot of brands, so it's hard for me to like pick favorites. If you could listen to only one song for the rest of your life, what would it be? Probably, there's this Slipknot song called Vermilion Part 2. You'd think it would be like, you know, screamo rock music, but it's literally like such a soft and sad song. It was either my sister or my dad that used to listen to it when I was little, but I grew up listening to that song, and so hearing it always makes me like feel nostalgic, and I'll never get tired of listening to it. Like it's such a good song, and Corey Taylor's voice is so good. Okay, next question. What's your favorite thing to do when you're free? Definitely vintage shopping. I love all types of vintage shopping, antique shopping, thrift shopping, any like secondhand store I can spend hours in. What's my favorite season? I love like mid-seasons. I like spring because it's not too hot, and I also love fall because it's not too cold. So nothing that's too extreme. And then someone asked, how do you stay so humble? I always try to like, I think I already kind of said this, but I try not to be so self-important all the time. It's just like realizing that I'm just a speck of dust on this big, big planet, and my problems are pretty insignificant in the grand scheme of things. Showing gratitude for things that I have because I'm pretty fortunate for my position in life. There's just a lot to be grateful for. So for me, being grateful is how I stay humble. What are your favorite emojis? I really like the smirking emoji and also the worm emoji because I think it's really cute. What's one of your least favorite things you've eaten, and have you tried that thing again? I'm kind of a picky eater, but I'm not afraid to like try things. But if I don't like it, like I'll never try it again because like what's the point? One of those things I hate in life is tomatoes. I think if someone held like a gun to my head and said to eat a tomato, I think I would hesitate before I ate the tomato. Like that's how much I hate them. They're just like not good. Did you do a lot of slumber parties growing up? If you did, were you the one who fell asleep latest, woke up earliest, or something else? So I didn't do a lot of slumber parties, but the ones that I do remember, I was always the one who fell asleep the latest, just because like it's hard for me to like sleep in other beds that aren't my own or just like in other homes. So many times. Okay, twice. It only happened twice. But I would always fall asleep last, and we'd be watching like a DVD, and the freaking DVD screen, opening screen, or I forgot what it's called, like the menu would be playing the whole entire night because we never shut it off. I guess I just forgot like you can shut it off yourself with a remote, but I would be listening to something for like hours straight, and I could never sleep because the freaking DVD kept playing. I remember vividly, it was Madagascar 3, and it was like the and it was like the circus one. That is like forever ingrained into my brain. And then also one time it was Jumanji. I actually rewatched it, and it like triggered something so deep within me that it made me want to like throw up everywhere. And then there was this one time, I was really little, I was sleeping over at my cousin's house, and I woke up, and I guess I just got really homesick because I threw up everywhere. I projectile threw up everywhere. I remember I was like, guys, I kind of have to burp, and they were like, okay, Monica, like burp, and I burped, and it just like came out. I ruined the vibes, I ruined the party, and my mom had to pick me up early. I had to go home, but yeah, I just don't do well in other environments, I guess. I'm definitely a homebody. What's your MBTI? Okay, the last time I took it was like 3 years ago, so I'm probably not even the same thing, but Last time I took it, I was an INTJ. Next question, how do you come up with video ideas? I have some advice. If anyone's watching this and you want to become a YouTuber, you know how like people always say like find your niche and stuff? Well, I say the opposite. Don't find your niche. Okay, you can. You like maybe you should, but if you find it, don't lock yourself onto it, or don't limit yourself to just one niche. If you do, I mean, like some people do, you're like a gaming channel, you're only gonna play video games, like you're not gonna make like a cooking video or something. Understandable, you know, some people, you know, do really successful that way, and that's what they're happy doing. But for me, I have so many interests and stuff that like I want my channel to be a variety of things. It's so easy to sort of like trap yourself into a box of how others perceive you, and so you start to perform that way because you know that an audience will only watch your videos if they're only watching for one specific thing. For example, I accidentally posted 2 hair videos and they got really popular, and I sort of knew going into it that hair videos do really well on YouTube because people like to watch them, and I like doing my own hair, so I was like, I might as well just document it and upload it. Those 2 videos became my most popular videos, even though I'd say that's not really an accurate representation of how I want my channel to be, because I'm scared of just becoming one thing. I want my channel to be because people like me for who I am, which if you're watching this, I hope that's the case. Thank you. That's how I come up with video ideas, is that I let myself explore anything I want. Favorite K-pop group and your bias? My favorite K-pop group is NCT. My bias from NCT is Taeyong. I definitely appreciate that man's beauty. He is a beautiful specimen. But I also just really like his style. He has really cool style. I feel like if I was a guy, like I would want to dress like him. Next question. If you could be anywhere in the world, where would you be? What would you be doing? If I could be anywhere in the world, if I could like live somewhere. I know this sounds so stereotypical. I'm not gonna say I have my eyes and heart locked onto New York City, because New York City is so like, I don't know, like everyone wants to live there. It's not like necessarily New York City that I want to live in. I just want to live in a city that's walkable and has creative people. And there's a lot of cities like that. So I feel like it's just like the vibe. If you could be in any fictional universe, which one would you want to be in? I think I'd want to be like the lead actress in a K-drama or something. It's not really like a universe, but K-dramas are so romantic. They just portray life in such like a cute way that I would love to be like the lead in a K-drama. What are your top 5 fashion inspirations? I already sort of said like all the designers that I like, so I'm only gonna say one person that I can think of right now. Gwen Stefani. I can't vouch for her style now, present day, but her style when she was like early 2000s, 90s, I just resonate with it so much, and I feel like all the things she wore is like, I'd be like, I want to wear that. If I could look through her closet during that era, that'd be a dream. Like, I just want to see all the clothes she had. Do you listen to music when you fall asleep? Yes, actually, every single night I have to listen to music. It's just so relaxing. Like, I have to listen to music every day. I feel like if I didn't, like, I would go insane. Who do you miss the most? I miss my sisters a lot. Favorite children's book or story? I think it's called As Long as I Love You. I remember our teacher read that to the entire classroom and I was crying. I was really little too, but I remember just like, it's such a sad story. What are your sun, moon, and rising signs? I'm a Taurus sun, and then a Cancer rising, and a Scorpio moon. What kind of mark do you hope to leave on this world? So I've thought about this a lot before. I think my main mission is to inspire people. I've been inspired by so many other people in my life that I almost feel this like sense of obligation to pass the baton on to someone else and sort of like create this cycle of inspiration, because I feel like inspiration is so contagious. This person asked, what are some hobbies you'd recommend for a person with no friends? All of my hobbies that I have, I don't need friends to do any of them. Every Wednesday, I have a designated movie night and I watch a movie, and then after I'll review it on Letterboxd. That's really fun. I like to draw. I really love to write pen pal letters, which if you're someone who struggles with loneliness, writing pen pal letters, you need to experience it, because like not only do you get to communicate with someone, but it's like just a different form of communication. And I think writing is so beautiful and it's so fun to like actually make the letters. I also really like to play roleplay video games. My favorite one that I like hyper fixated on for a long time was Final Fantasy VII Remake. That was really fun to play, and I love playing roleplay games because it just makes me feel so much less lonely and like I actually have friends. I like to go to new cafes. I like to try new drinks by myself. The most important thing I think is just to be friends with yourself first, because then everything you do becomes fun. I like need my alone time. Like even now that I've made more friends in my life, like I'll never take my alone time for granted, you know? I think someone asked if I watch anime. I think I accidentally skipped that question, but yes, I do watch anime. My favorite anime, I think, is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. That was such a good one. I think I want to rewatch it again because I just loved like the main theme of it and the characters. It was a really good anime. Do you have any future plans for your art or creativity? Yes, I definitely do have like a sort of like a rough outline of the person I want to be and how far I want to take my art and stuff into life. The thing is like I try not to think about it too much because I don't want to like obsess over it. I think it's always healthy to like have an idea and then sort of detach yourself from it. That way you don't like have expectations, because expectations are dangerous. Do have like specific goals and stuff, but for the sake of not like spoiling them, I just want to keep them to myself for now. The one thing I do know, I want to keep making videos. It's not really like about numbers for me. It's literally just about the fulfillment that it brings me, and the interactions that I have with y'all really mean a lot to me. I'd say my goal is to never give up on creativity, because I think if I just keep going at it, that like eventually like I'll have to hit something, you know what I mean? And finally, the last question. Sorry this video is like really dragging, but it's the last one. I saved it for last because I think it like was the most impactful comment. And basically they asked, where does such a strong, healthy sense of self come from? And like, first of all, like I'm really happy that I'm perceived that way, because I don't always feel that way. And so thank you for this comment. It was really beautiful. I think the biggest thing for me is that I've always been such a curious person. And I think that has always led me to learning new things and killing any ignorance that I have. For example, like if there's an artist that I like, I want to know not just about the art itself, but I want to know the person behind it. And then I also want to know who inspired this artist in their life to make that art. And you just keep digging deeper and deeper until you realize that like it never ends, and like there's always going to be connections to everyone. And it's just pretty crazy how inspiration just like travels throughout time. I think inspiration is forever and it's immortal, basically. You may look at me and think like, oh, she has original style, maybe, but like, I'm just a person that's made up of everyone around me, and my style is just an accumulation of all these other styles that I've seen and have made its way into my own wardrobe. So I'm just a person that's made up of everyone and everything that I've loved before, and isn't that beautiful? But I do think everyone has the potential to become more sure of themselves. It just requires a lot of self-awareness, you know, just question things, be curious, be genuinely interested in things that you maybe weren't interested in before. Most of the time, like if I watch a movie, like I want to know the director. If I see a painting, I want to know who painted it. And if I see a piece of clothing, I want to know who designed it. If I see a YouTube video, I want to know more about that person who made the YouTube video. So yeah, just be really open-minded. Yeah, I think that's literally it. Just be open-minded. Don't close yourself off to things because you close yourself off to experiences and growing yourself. I think I answered all the questions. I thank you guys so much for watching and for subscribing and for having trust in my channel. This is just the beginning. It's just the tip of the iceberg, literally. Like I know, like I haven't even done anything yet, basically. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.